and fundamentals for the beginners. Basically, this about is a kind of programming language which is extension to the Oracle SQL part. Okay, so before learning this topic and all, so everyone should be able to would have been practiced or known on the Oracle fundamentals, how the Oracle fundamentals, how the data gets stored, and what are the different types of database objects, and so because these are frequently used in the programming language. So let us start on this one. So it's a prerequisite, like, so we need to have a Oracle software version, any of these versions installed in your system. And so everyone should be aware of this Oracle fundamentals and Oracle fundamentals, SQL fundamentals, and scripting Oracle, right? How to write the queries and all. So how to join the multiple tables. These are the things which should be known. Everyone should be known before learning this topic. Okay. So without understanding the Oracle fundamentals and the Oracle SQL part, so this will be very difficult to understand this. Okay. So, and one more thing is Oracle database connecting tools. We should have either of these tools. So once you install this software, so it will have Oracle SQL Plus, or from the command prompts also you should be able to connect database, and also here the SQL developer. So everyone should have this one. Okay, the tools. Along with this, for writing programs, we need to have installed Notepad++. Notepad++ is the tool. How it looks like is, I will show you that. So this is the one here. So now you guys are seeing this tool, right? Notepad++. See here. So this is the tool where you can write programs like this way. So this is the way how you can write the programs. Okay. So for this codes and all, writing a PLSQL, so you can see here some of them letters are in blue color, some of them in black. So how this programming language will be identified, the syntax and all. So you can go to this, once you install this Notepad++, so go to the languages, software language, and click on yes. Here you can see the SQL plot, SQL. So if you click on this, then automatically the whatever syntax or programs you write, so it will flag into blue and black. So blue indicates those are given by the Oracle keywords. Okay. So these are the keywords which are flagged here. Okay. So this is the thing which you need to have it before doing it. Okay. So let us go back to this presentation. Okay. Okay, fine then. So this topic, the main PLSQL contains below these topics. So we'll start on the PLSQL introduction, and what are the introduction has multiple topics like what is the difference between SQL and PLSQL. So what is a PLSQL? Why we need a PLSQL programming? Okay. So under the today topic we will cover for 1 hour session till 9 o'clock, 9:15. 15 minutes we'll give for question answers. If you have any question answers, you can get back to me so that I can clarify your doubts. Okay. Then today's session we will discuss about PLSQL introduction and PLSQL variable data types and block types. Okay. So fine then. So these are the total number of topics which are available in this topic. Okay. So what is a PLSQL? So PLSQL is a programming language. So in the introduction part, so what we will discuss about what is PLSQL and its corresponding features, and the Oracle SQL versus the PLSQL, what is the difference between these two, and the PLSQL architecture and advantages of PLSQL. Okay, so let us start on the first. So what is a PLSQL? PLSQL is a kind of programming language and which is an extension to this, the Oracle SQL part, that is a sequential query language. PL stands for procedural language. Procedural language for, which is an extension of the sequential query language. Okay, it's an Oracle proprietary language. So it's a Oracle proprietary language. So we cannot write a PL SQL programs in any of the other products like other databases like Microsoft SQL Server. So this will not support. So this is owned by the Oracle. So if you want to write a programs, we don't need to separately install a PL SQL. So we don't need that. So it comes along with the software. So once you download the software, Oracle 10G or 11G or 12C, so these things, once you install it, it comes along with this. So how to know whether, if you want to see that, I'll show you how it looks like. So let us connect the database. Here in my computer, I have installed Oracle 12C, and so the PLSQL version, it shows that what is the version of the current version of the PLSQL. So that is already installed in the database. Okay, let us connect this one. So can connect here. See, if you want to see the what type of version is available on database here, so I installed Oracle 12C. There is a data dictionary view which is already present. Once you comes along with a installation $, version. So you can note down the notes. So if you want to see the version of the database, you can see this. See here, Oracle database version 12C enterprise version, release 12.1.0 version. This is a 60-bit production. Okay, 60-bit processor. Okay, and here you can see this PLSQL version 12.1.0. So it comes on the same version. So the PLSQL version is also available now. Okay, along with these are the things which are available. It comes along with the software. Okay, so this is the way how you can see this. Let us go back and okay. So now you can see that how this version presents. Okay, so it comes along with the Oracle version. Okay, it includes the procedural statements, and which is a mandatory, and SQL statements are optional. So these SQL statements are optional. Even without writing an SQL statements, we can write a programming language. So that is, I'll show you the couple of things like in programs. So how it looks like, what is the meaning of this one? Okay, and here the database manipulation capabilities of SQL are combined along with the procedural statements. So this is about this one, and it provides like a conditional statements. What is the procedural statements? So procedural statements contains the conditional statements, loops, and branching, and writing a multiple programs which is inside that. So this program supports this. PLSQL is also PLSQL is written in the form of a block types. So which is a sequential of statements. Sequential of statements it will execute. Okay. So here the features are. So let me before going to the slide, I will go to this slide. Okay. See here. Here I drawn a picture of multiple databases. So Oracle is also one of the databases available in the current market. Along with this, we have IBM DB2, so IBM product, which is IBM thing. So they have developed a separate database for this. And also this Microsoft also has developed SQL Server, so, which is for installation to install the database. So we need to have SQL Server software to be installed on the system. Okay. So all these three, if you see the databases are different types, different companies, different entities has developed their own databases to store the data. Main purpose is to store the data and to retrieve the data from the database. So whatever the applications we developed in the current applications, like example banking, insurance, any kind of sector, if you say take this, so these sectors, so we have a bulk of data. So let us take a bank example. So banks also, you see number of transactions per day will happen per day, right? So how to these things and all, what are the transactions activities we do on a daily basis? So we need to have a kind of storage space where we can store the data in the database. So for storing the data also, we need to have a kind of programming language, that is SQL part. So this SQL is common across all programs. The name SQL means sequential query language, is common across all different entities storage. Okay. So they have their, but the syntax may vary from different versions. They have their own scripting formula and syntax. So they provide that SQL Server will have a separate called TSQL. They call it a separate with a different name. But overall, so these are the activities they generally perform. So here, let us take Oracle now here. So DDL, if you want to store the data, so we need to create an objects in the sense like a DB object, like a tables, views, materialized view, and all other things. All the different types of database objects are present here. For that, so we need to create a space to store the data. Like example, like employee table. So if we take a company, so company has a list of employees. For storing this employee details separately, we need to create an object like a table. So let us take a table. So this one thing, so these are the regular operations they generally perform, like DDL, create, drop, alter, drop in the sense dropping an object. I think you already know about these topics in the Oracle SQL part. Okay. So these are the regular things you generally perform, like DML operations, DDL operations, and TCL, commit and rollback and save point, etc. Okay. So these things are performed here. So whatever the logic, like business rules, like bank and all, so these data gets stored using this SQL query language and to store the data. Okay. So that is fine up to here. Okay. If you want to do a kind of mini operations, mathematical calculations, like examples, like in say let us take the same example, banking. So there will be interest, daily interest or monthly interest will be applied, calculated, or quarterly interest will be applied for any accounts. Let us say example loans. So if you take any housing loan, so monthly that EMI will be calculated and it will be debited from your account. Okay. So if you open any deposit, so even for deposits also will have separate interest, right? Interest the monthly interest will be calculated and it will be credited to your account. So these kind of regular business operations, each account type, like loans, deposits, savings, current account, etc. All these things will have separate business rules for each and every account type. So in that scenario, so these SQL queries, we can write everything in one SQL query. So, but the problem is, if you want to process record by record and everything cannot be included, it will not be permitted to the SQL part. So we need to have a kind of the programming language, like if you want to process record by record, or if you want to apply business rules like interest calculations and all. So this can also be done in SQL query itself, but the problem is everything will be in one SQL. So if you have everything in one SQL, see, imagine the size of the SQL query may increase. So due to that, the performance, the performance data retrieval and calculations, it gets degraded, and the performance of each and everything will be reduced. Like, and even the size of the SQL query will definitely increase. So due to this, there will be a low performance. And also, like, one more thing is, if there are any enhancements, like example has implemented in India, and due to this, because of this, so there is a cash limit of 24,000 rupees we can withdraw in a week. So that conditions and all, so it should be implemented within the bank. So these conditions, if you want to do it, so it is difficult to change a single SQL query. If you can change it, but it gets impacted with other existing conditions which is applied already written in the SQL part. Due to this, so we need to test all the scenarios, whatever the possible scenarios, whatever we have written already in the SQL part. So it is very difficult to do that. So due to this reason, so PLSQL has there is an importance to overcome this kind of problems. Like if you change a single SQL query, other scenarios gets impacted. Due to this, so we need to have a separate programming language. So that is the purpose of it. If you write the programs and business rules in the kind of multiple blocks, like multiple chunks, so if you divide that business rules into multiple modules, so and if each module is written separate block or different statements, procedural statements, then it is easy, right? So I see Sheetal. Thanks for joining, Sheetal. So Sheetal, are you new to this PLSQL? I see a couple of people are also joining. Okay, it looks like. Okay, Sheetal, so we have started on the PLSQL part. So I just started 1 or 2 slides now. So I'm just sharing why we need a PLSQL, what is a PLSQL, so what are the things available in the PLSQL, its importance, okay? So I just shared. So are you, Sheetal, just can you introduce yourself, please? Sheetal, are you there? Okay, am I audible? Hi, Sheetal. Good morning. Okay, so are you new to PLSQL, or do you have any real-time experience already? You worked in IT industry before? Okay, Sheetal is completely new to these topics. Okay. Fine, Sheetal. So don't worry about that. I will teach these things and all. Okay. Okay. So we will discuss separately in the last. What are the questions if you have it? So just park it out for some time now. So once I complete this session, so last end of the session, 15 minutes. I'll give a time for you guys, so where you can ask your doubts. Okay. Okay, thank you. So we'll go back to the subject again. Okay, so this SQL part and all, so it is difficult to write into single code. Okay, so if you want to do this, if you break the business rules into multiple modules, say example like demonetization has implemented many rules on the savings account, current account, and other accounts. Okay. So if you see this, so these rules and if you divide that into multiple conditions and into multiple modules, each module will be having a separate program written and these things. Okay. So let us take an example: savings account. Savings account for every weekly withdrawal limit is 24,000 rupees. So these conditions are applied for each and every account irrespective of anything. Okay, so I just took an example of that. It can be any kind of business rule if you see this. Okay, because of this one here, the PLSQL, if you write this everything in one single program, so and the conditions they read with using the, we need to retrieve the data from the database and fetch the each and every account and apply a business rule on this. So if you see this for each and every account, if you start of the, if for every week, if you calculate the average week, how much amount it has been withdrawn from the account, if you calculate and if it is exceeding beyond 24,000 rupees, these conditions will be applied. So he cannot withdraw more than 24,000 rupees. So these conditions and all, for writing this, we need to apply some conditions. Look like if the sum of the amount per week, if it is exceeding beyond 24,000, so these things and all cannot be written in a single program in a SQL query. If we have this entire programming statements like if else conditions, looping each and every account in the loop, looping each and every account, so we can handle in the PLSQL. Okay, so this is proprietary to the Oracle. So PLSQL cannot be used in the DB2 and the SQL Server. It has its own programming language. Okay, so that is MySQL, SQLT, SQL and all. Okay, so this is proprietary to only to Oracle. So this is very important. Like if we have the same program requirement, we can write an SQL query, single SQL query, and if you same thing, if it is written in a PLSQL, so the performance will be definitely improved if you write this, and we can control the impact analysis also. If we change any small enhancement, if any additions added to this one, definitely, so we can control and it will not be impacted other scenarios. Okay, so that's the reason we need. That is the importance of this PLSQL. Okay, so let us go back to the next slide and all. So I will explain more in detail also. This is also practical scenario where you can see this. If you understand this picture, so definitely, so for this we don't need to know about the programming. So this is just a real-time scenario. See, let us take a bank. So if you go to visit any bank, so just ask anyone of your the bank employees, like the bank employees. They will see, they will tell us that what software. If you ask any question on the software, like so which is the software which you are using now in the bank, they'll say that there is a separate software name. I forgot by chance now. Okay, so that is I forgot the name. Oh, I'm not able to recollect now. I will tell once I started this. Okay, so let us take the bank. So same thing. We need to have a front-end application. Like so it's a front-end application which is written in Java. Let us Java, and here. So all the business rules applied on the savings account. We have different type of accounts like savings, current, loans, and personal loan, housing loan, mortgage loan, deposits, etc., forex. So these are the many modules we have. Okay, so in these modules, so if each module like savings and all, it has its own business rules applied. So savings account is not equal to current account, and it is not equal to loan account. It has its own business rules. Suppose if the same logic or business rules are written in Java language, so for Java language we need to have along with one additional programming that is called SQL part. So it's a sequential query language to retrieve the data, to store the data, to manipulate the data. So we already discussed in the previous slide. So these are the regular operations like DDL, DML, and TCL. These are the things which you should be knowing well in advance, so before learning this. Okay, if the same logic it is written, business rules are written in Java, and to retrieve the data, to manipulate the data, we need to have a connection between the database. Data gets stored in the Oracle part, and if your same application business rules are written in Java, for fetching the data, it has to connect the database using JDBC connection or ODBC connection, and here so we need to these SQL queries will be used to get the data, retrieve the data, and to manipulate the data. These things, and also to control the data, like to save the data or not, if you want to roll back or if you don't want to do save the data. So we don't need this. Okay, so we can do this in the SQL part. So these things and all, if every time, like example, you go to bank and you withdraw a 2000 rupees example from your account. So there will be a program here which is written here, and go back to your, once you enter your account number, it gets back, go back to the database, fetch the account details of your account, and it will deduct 2000 rupees from your account, and it will show the remaining balance in the screen. Okay, so for this one, so every time it has to connect and get back to the data, back to the front-end application. So this is written in Java. So for connecting here, so we need a database connection, like using the JDBC or ODBC. If you are familiar with this Java and all, so they use utility to connect database. We cannot directly connect from the front-end application to database. So there should be a kind of connecting path. So there should be a kind of roadmap to connect the front-end application and the back-end. Okay. So this one here, every time, like if you read same application is written in Java, all the business rules, imagine how many connections will happen per day. So how many users go back to the bank and withdrawal, or it can be a withdrawal or a cash deposit. So how many deposits will happen, how many loan transactions will happen, how many savings accounts transactions will happen, like credit and debit, and like similarly like current account. So there will be a huge network traffic between the front-end application and between the front-end and also the back-end, that is database here. So due to this, right, to overcome this one here, so there will be a huge traffic, and also the application performance also will get reduced, because every time it has to connect for each transaction, it has to connect back to database and get the data, and they can do the operations like credit or debit here. So if the same application which is written, the business rules are written in Java, right? If the same business rules which are written in Java, if you convert or migrate the same business rules, so within the programming language which is given by this Oracle and in the form of PLSQL, so the data will be here, the programming business rules will also be here. Imagine the performance of this programming business rules will be much faster if you write the business rules, everything here within this database. So that is the reason of that is importance of the PLSQL program. And there will be only one for each transaction. There will be only one operation will happen. That is sending an input to this one, do the calculations, withdrawals, everything here, apply interest rules, example, everything, and deposits, calculate the interest, everything within the database, and send back the output to the front-end application. So in this case, the front-end applications will be in a thin layer, and the thick layer will be the database. Because how many operations will happen? So applying business rules is one thing, data manipulation is also one more thing, and sending back as a package everything, sending back the response, whatever the response you do daily basis, that will send back to the front-end application. So front-end will be acting as like a passenger, like sending back again, sending input, send down input, and get me the output. Simple thing. So there will be only two transactions will be there for each transaction, like example cash deposit or cash deposit. So it will send the amount of cash which you are going to deposit, what is the account number, and it will go back. These details will be sent to the database. So here the programming language, this is PLSQL, it reads the account number and the balance which you deposit, what is the deposited amount, whether it is a debit or credit, it will go back to this one and it will update that your account balance here, and it sends back to saying that message. So account deposit is successful. Deposit of this amount 2000 rupees is successful. It sends a message back to this front end applications. So this is the way of, that is importance of this PLSQL. Once you understand this picture, so then you can see that importance here. So, okay, fine. Go back, and if you see this one, imagine not only writing a code in the programming in the PLSQL, it also improves the performance of each and every application. It improves the performance, not only performance, scalability. Like, so if there are any enhancements, future enhancements like that are added in the application, like example, recently demonetization is applied for all account, right? So these things and all, so can be easily handled in this programming language, okay? So in this one here, without changing any front-end application. So these rules will be applied in this within the programming language. So these enhancements can be easily added to this programming language. Okay, I will tell you how to write the programs in the later sessions. For timing, understand this picture. If you understand this picture clearly, definitely, so you will see the importance of this PLSQL in a big picture. Okay, fine, great. Okay, so far, do you have any questions now? Anyone, please? Okay. Okay, fine. I will go back to this one. Okay, the previous slides. Okay, so these are the features which are available on because of this programming language. It delivers high performance by executing SQL statements in a bulk rather than individual. So that if you call individually, it will cause a overhead on the programming, and it causes a network traffic. Okay, as you see that, as you already saw that in the previous slide. Okay, so okay here, and the creation of complex business rules can be written in a single programming unit, thus promoting the performance, and also the productivity also gets improved. Okay, fine. That is fine here. Okay, so see, you can see here the color, and also portability. PLSQL code is written in a it can be written in a single operating system, can be migrated successfully to other operating system where the Oracle is running. Okay, so it doesn't depend. Basically, the meaning of this one is portability mean. So it doesn't depend on any operating system, because these programs are written within the Oracle, not outside Oracle, like on an operating system. It is written within the program. Whatever the programs you write the programs, so that will be permanently stored in the database itself. So which will not depend on operating system. Okay, so that is the importance of this one. So which programs depends on operating system? So which can you name any one the programming languages which are written in operating system? You know, shell scripting, heard about it? So shell scripting will be depend on operating system. So which is written on any Unix platform. Okay, operating system. Fine. So let us go back to this one. It supports high security, definitely high security, like with the help of encryption and decryption logic, which are available in the PLSQL. Okay, so that is also there. Interacting with other programming languages. So if you see this here, interacting with other programming language like Java, we can write Java language within the PLSQL. So that those are called programming Java stored procedures. So that are permanently stored in the database. I will tell you how the programs will store in the database in the later sessions. Okay, for timing, just understand this one, importance of it. The applications which are written in PLSQL are portal on any platforming and any platform. So in any platform, that is any operating system, it can return anything on which is supporting Oracle. Okay, the content switching overhead can be avoided by using advanced PLSQL concepts like bulk, collect, and forward. So these are the features which are available in the PLSQL. So for time we will not understand this. What is this one? Bulk, collect, and forward. So basically these features are available means, suppose if you want to load the data which is in a bulk, if the data gets in a bulk, if you want to store permanently at one shot, at one time, like storing, then so we use these features called bulk. Bulk collect is one of the features which are available in PLSQL. I will tell you what is how it looks like and all when we start on the programs. Okay, for all means for all the records directly, like storing, how we are storing the data in bulk. So for fetching the data from the database as an entire thing as a one shot, so we use forward. Okay, fine then. So that is the meaning of it. The perform object oriented, it also performs object oriented programming concepts like overloading. So we have function overloading concept. So, and also you know the meaning of object oriented language. Object oriented means there is a difference between sequential programming language and object oriented programming. Calling one program by one or another, and you know the encapsulations, the features which are in program object oriented language. Java is Java, C++, PLSQL is also an object oriented language. So which is a sequential language? You already know about this. What is C language? C programming. So that is a sequential language. Language which is executed statement by statement, line by line in a sequential order. So that is a sequential programming language. So the meaning of the object oriented language means, so along with the sequential, if you want to execute, so if you want to call other programs, so that is possible in the object oriented language. That is, so there is multitasking tasks and multi-threading features and like encapsulation. So these features are available in the object oriented language. Okay, so these features also can be implemented, and will be, this program also will support this object oriented programming. Okay, function overloading means, I will tell you what is the meaning of overloading. Overloading is also one of the concepts available in object oriented. Okay, so that is of it. Okay, so those are the features of Oracle PLSQL part. So I've given a slide here and with this examples so that you can understand what is the meaning of it. Okay, so what is the architecture of the PLSQL? If you see here, so this one, so PLSQL contains the block of procedural statements and also along with the SQL. SQL is this is an optional one, so but the mandatory one is the procedural statements. Without procedural statements, we cannot write a PLSQL block. I will tell you when I start on this how many block types are there available. So what is the meaning of block mean? So for timing, just understand this architecture now. So suppose if it contains the SQL statements along with the procedural statements, so the PLSQL engine will so if we write a program in the along procedural statements along with the SQL statements. So I will show you a couple of programs how it looks like. So for timing, just understand this one. It separates the procedural statements separately and an SQL statement separately. So procedural statements will be kept aside in the executed statement. There is a separate memory which is available in the engine, PLSQL engine. It separates here, and here SQL statements will be separated here. So there is an SQL engine is also available now here. So that will go back to the, so SQL engine will find out the path in the database. So there's a kind of, that is called an execution block, execution path. So this path, based on this path, it ignites that statement, and whatever the operations which is written in DML operate, can be DML operations or DDL operations or TCL operations. So it go back to the database, connect the database, and perform whatever the action which is written in the SQL statement. So that will be performed. Once it is performed, like example, let us take getting an account, savings account details from here. It go back to the database, fetch the data like savings accounts, and it get back to the PLSQL engine, and here, and whatever the statements which are written here, if else conditions, looping, and each and every these, whatever the statements which is written here, like conditions, like example, interest calculation. So these interest calculations will be applied on the data which is written by the SQL one. Okay, so this is how it operates inside this inside the database. Okay, so this engine, SQL engine and the PLSQL engine, will be sitting inside the database, and they do these operations, so which we cannot be known. So inside this backend part, so these are the operations will perform. Okay, so that is the meaning of it. Okay, fine. Here up to here, I think everyone have understood what is the meaning of the PLSQL and why we need a PLSQL. So this completes the introduction of the PLSQL part. Okay, so now we'll discuss on the questions. Okay, fine. So guys, anyone have questions so far now?